Let me walk you through my experience. I built a shopping list app, and it's both on Apple Store and Google Play Store. I didn't have issue submitting it with Google Play Store, but App Store is another story. For background, where did it go wrong? Let's say my app collects the analytics data, crash reports, serves admob ads, and also has subscription option to remove ads to unlock extra features. If you have something similar going on, maybe my video will help you. I find that data privacy is one of the Apple's biggest concerns when reviewing your apps, so you should be sure to check all of those guidelines that are related to user tracking and user privacy. It's not just about having a link to privacy policy, it's having the correct privacy policy, because Apple reviewer might go through your privacy policy and actually read it. You need to disclose how your app collects, uses, and protects user data. For example, if you're using third-party SDK like admob or Sentry, those platforms collect user data on your behalf. If you use Google Analytics, Firebase Analytics, crashlytics, yes, you need to disclose that in privacy policy. It's not just for backend, users need to know what they are consenting to. And it's not just about following Apple's guidelines, it's about following the GDPR guidelines too. Another thing is that your app needs to be compliant with Apple's app tracking transparency. This is specific to iOS, and it's just about showing the pop-up to user that is Apple specific. You must ask for explicit user consent for tracking data. If you don't show the ATT pop-up, or if you track users without their consent, well, that's grounds for immediate rejection of your app. Next, what you should watch out for is, of course, if you're using subscriptions and in-app purchases, is guidelines for purchases. So Apple loves purchases, but only if you do it their way. First obvious is that you need to use the Apple's purchase system. And next is including the restore button, restore purchases button in paywall screen. That's why I was rejected the first time. I was missing the restore purchases button. And also all of your plans need to contain a clear title, what the user gets, and price and duration of the subscription, if you offer subscriptions. Then why I was rejected is that I didn't have a functional link to the terms of service. Well, the problem wasn't that I didn't have a link to terms of service and it was functioning. But if you go back to App Store Connect and go to license agreement, this is selected by default. Apply Apple's standard end user license agreement. If this is selected, you should not link to your terms of service, your custom one, you should link to the Apple's terms of service. And I think also Apple's terms of service link needs to be in the description of the app. If you want to go through with the custom one, you would apply a custom terms of service, but it also needs to meet Apple's minimum terms. I did not want to go through it, so I continued with the Apple's standard end user license agreement. There's also a bunch of other reasons why your app might get rejected. It can be because of broken functionality. Your app is broken, it doesn't navigate well. That's why I suggest you thoroughly test your app and also write automated tests. Next to writing automated tests, you should be continuously monitoring your app, and you can do that with maybe Sentry, crashlytics, or some other performance monitoring library. If your functionality is okay, take a look, check that your design is okay, it doesn't feel clunky. I'm not a designing person, so I use the material design framework. It's called React Native Paper, and that framework feels nice and clean. Next to functionality and design, be sure to check that your app doesn't fall into saturated category. Third, don't waste your time making an astrology or fortune telling apps. I'm sure you won't, but I need to warn about that. If you're 100% sure that your app follows the guidelines but you keep getting rejected, maybe it's not you, maybe it's the reviewer. In my case, it was always me, but you can also file an appeal to app review, and then you might get your app approved that way. And some of the last notes, once your app gets approved, your reviews will be really quick, like in a couple of hours. And before that, my usual reviews took about 1-2 days. And once you're in, future updates are much faster. And also, thanks guys for watching.